theories and raising informational awareness on domestic violence. Um, so TouchLink is a nonprofit organization. Their mission is to provide and support services to victims of domestic violence in need. So they do services by counseling, doing individual safety plans, support groups, referrals, workshop, social advocacy, and community outreach. All right, so tonight we have a very special informational session. All right, we have Miss Chinilu Shoti, that which what she will be doing a informational session on domestic violence and young adults. All right, I'm going to be reading her bio. Uh, Chinelo is a wife, a mother to three beautiful children. She is a certified adoption specialist and child advocate in the state of New Jersey. She holds a certification in violence against women program in New Jersey. She holds a bachelor degree in English from Rutgers, the University of New Jersey, and master's degree in child advocacy from Montclair State University. She is the woman coordinator to her local place of worship, Women of Grace and Excellence, who is highly favored. So everyone, please put a virtual applause for our special guest, Chinelo Shoti. Thank you so much for being with us.
Hello, thank you. Thank you. I was actually waiting to hear the TouchLink video and to see before I talk about the agency. I guess that's gonna come later. So I know that I have a few minutes from being on this platform since the beginning of this month. Talking about domestic violence, I know that I have a few minutes to pass across the message that I have today. Okay, I know that I have a few minutes to pass across the message that I have today, and I know that afterwards we're going to have a session where we could all ask questions and learn from one another. So I'm not just here to lecture or teach or talk to you about what is going on, but we're here to talk together, create awareness together, talk about what is going on together. And in so doing, using this platform that we have that was created by TouchLink by my sister Yawande, to use this platform to actually go out there and do what we need to do. So thank you so much, Deaconess Yawande, for having me on this platform. And I would like to say that I have really benefited this whole month. Absolutely amazing. Last week, I believe on Thursday, we talked about absentee fathers and how to do and what to, all the information that we learned from that session, amazing. How to deal with the children and what to say to them and all of that. So today, I hope we also gain knowledge, not only for ourselves, but also to spread it all out there. So as teachers, educators, youth group leaders, mentors, peer leaders, all of us on this platform, as we gain this knowledge, we're going to gain from this platform today, we're going to go out there and make a difference. So thank you so much, TouchLink, for what you're doing. You're doing an amazing job. And I'm just saying all this to say that, being a grassroots organization, when somebody is in need, when a woman or a man is beaten and battered and the police station nowhere to go and they give you a call at 1 a.m., you're out there, you're helping, you're providing, all of this stuff. And that's why we're here on this platform. And so I know we're going to hear it later on, during the whole course of this presentation about how we can give, donate to make sure that we're touching lives, we're restoring hopes for people. So thank you again. I am going to share my screen as I start. I would like us to watch a video before we just commence on this topic. Okay.
My teen dating experience began at a very young age.
There was a boy, and I was in middle school.
And right when I saw her, I knew.
I'm gonna date that girl.
He was very nice. He would compliment me. He said that he really liked me.
He was mysterious.
We met and fell in love all within a matter of 2 weeks, and things kind of started.
Instant gut feeling that she was not good for me. I didn't listen to that gut feeling, and that was where it first went wrong.
He started controlling me and telling me what I could wear and what I couldn't wear.
You need to text me at all times. I need to know where you're at all times.
It began to be emotionally and mentally manipulative.
He would start asking me if I could use my friend's phone to like send him nude pictures.
I will tell my girlfriend, oh, that's good. He's jealous, right? That means he really likes me.
She degraded me with names. Why are you being such a Why are you being such a Pretty soon you start believing that about yourself. And so then I began to act that way. I began to let her walk all over me.
Day after day, he constantly asked me, can we have intercourse? Can we have intercourse? Can we have sex? And I said, no, no.
It really felt as if being controlled meant that he loved me. I thought that that's just how relationships were supposed to be.
You're not smart enough. You will never make it in life. You will end up just like your mother, cleaning houses. He knew how to put me down.
He proceeded to throw me down on the ground again, and he put his forearm across my throat and spit in my face.
Get off of me. I don't want this. He put all of his body weight on me and just finished his job. He had just finished raping me.
I don't know. It's just you find yourself in the situation and you don't even realize how bad it is.
I thought that stereotypically that the men were the abusers and the women were the victims, but I never thought about teens. I never thought about young people. I felt stuck. I felt like I didn't have a voice.
A whole lot better than I was. I realized that I am a survivor and I've taken a bad situation and I've turned it into something empowering. I'm no longer afraid to keep my story secluded. I'm just an advocate now.
I will tell other girls that are going through the same situation to speak up, to not be afraid, that they're not the only ones going through this.
No relationship should ever require you to sacrifice your dignity or your self-respect or your friends or the things that you enjoy doing.
Don't be so desperate to be loved by somebody that you'll sit with someone who feeds you crumbs of love.
Speak up.
Speak up.
Speak up.
Speak up.
Speak up. Speak up.
Yes, we need to speak up. And this is definitely happening. I'm going to share my screen for my presentation. Yep. So today we're going to talk about domestic violence in the young adult population, just like the video we just all saw. We really need to speak up and talk about this. And thank God for this platform, like I said before, where we can all speak up and talk about it, not only to help the people that are close to us, but our neighbors or church, young adults, but for everyone else, like really speaking up and talking about this will help to prevent this from happening to a lot of people. And we know what TouchLink is doing is kind of a coordinated community response. And we know that this is the best practice in responding to and preventing domestic violence and preventing intimate partner violence and teen dating violence. Addressing all of this is an intervention in itself. Okay, so not only are we talking about how to recognize the red flags or in a relationship, or knowing how to deal when confronted with the situation, or how to move on with life after DV, we are also learning on how to prevent it from happening in the first place. and most importantly, educating our young adult population. And like I said earlier on, I am not an expert on this topic, so we're all going to talk about this together. But I feel like, learning how to prevent it from happening in the first place will help to reduce the numbers of people that are facing intimate partner violence, teen dating violence, and domestic violence in our population today. So let's start by talking about what is teen dating abuse. Yes, we said it's domestic violence in young population, but it's also referred to as teen dating abuse. And from my definition that I pulled up, it kind of, teen dating abuse describes, like an actual or threatened act of physical or sexual, psychological, verbal harm by a partner or a boyfriend. It also includes violence between two people in a current or former relationship. And this could include everything that we can think of in a heterosexual relationship, in the same gender couple relationship, and it could take different forms, such as using the internet or the social network sites, using cell phones or text messages to harass, to pressure or to victimize people. And I usually love to talk about data, because in talking about data, it kind of brings home what we're talking about. Teen dating violence is a public health crisis, because from my research, it shows that about 75% of seventh graders, that is children between ages 13 and 14, they've reported having a boyfriend or a girlfriend. And I'm like, what do they know at this age? 13, 14, having a girlfriend or a boyfriend, but it's happening. We have 1 in 3 teens experience some form of dating abuse. And this could be either online, and usually, when there's an online abuse, they're most likely going to experience offline abuse as well. For schools, like 1 in 5 female students, 1 in 10 male students have experienced some form of physical and or sexual teen dating violence during this past 12 months. So it's happening, it's out there. And that's why we're on this platform, to educate ourselves more on what is going on and how we can help. And only out of all the statistics, only 33% of these teens will tell someone about it. And they usually tell a friend. And it's a whopping 81% of parents, believe that teen dating abuse is not an issue, or they're not admitting that that they know about it. So this is really troubling, and it's something that we really have to start paying attention to. And so, and most of the time, we know at this stage in our teens' life, it's a stage that is characterized by a lot of strong emotions. There's a lot of things going on, with them at this stage in their life, and we usually see emotional and psychological violence as being very, very common among our teens at this stage, in their life. And because we also know that adolescent teenagers, it's when they're in that period, that stage, it's a time for them to explore. It's a time that they discover what is going on with them. It's a time for them to, they're feeling so many things all at the same time. So it is our responsibility as the adults in their life to help them to, keep them safe and help them to remain safe. So, and also, we know the digital age that we're in, the games, the phone, the social media, all of that. And at this stage in their life, they're beginning to think different. They're beginning to see themselves different. They're beginning to question their identity. How do they fit into this world? Majority of them are thinking about and also talking about having, a relationship, like, thinking about dating. They're talking about it. And we also know that at this stage in their life, they're really struggling with a lot of emotional stuff. They're struggling everything from puberty to what's it called, their emotions, their adult identity, trying to be independent. All of that is happening at this stage in their life. So you can imagine, when someone is going through this whole crisis in their life about them becoming an adult, to add upon that violence, that comes from relationship, that comes from them trying to date, comes from them trying to form meaningful relationships in their life. So I remember, one time with my son, he plays football, and you see them on the field, big, high school, he plays varsity high school football, and they're all big, with their pads and everything. When they're done, and if they lost the game, you see all these tough looking teenagers crying. And I'm like, they're all crying for what? For losing a game. I was like, oh my goodness. So even with everything that they're all trying to be and become, they still have that emotion. They're still babies. They're still filled with so many stuff going on. So when you have that understanding, it helps you really to really go out there and try to help them, teach them the skills that they need, especially in this area of dating. So we really need to support them, teach them the skills, and help them manage their feelings. And we're going to talk about what it looks like, to have this teen power and control, which translates to what we're talking about in terms of, domestic violence or dating abuse. For the adults, it's different. For teens, this is what we have as just the will of the power and control, the pattern that you kind of see in relationships when it comes to the young adult. And just pay attention to what we heard from the video. You see it right there in terms of sexual coercion, where they're manipulating or making threats to get sex from the other partner. There's this peer pressure going on at this stage. There's this anger and emotional abuse, a lot of it, anger, emotional, psychological, going on at this time. When one partner is trying to put the other person down, make them feel bad, and humiliate them. And then they use social status as well, like threatening, threatening to expose them on social media, intimidating them, and denying and blaming. All of this stuff, happens, and this is a circle of the power and it does happen in our young adult population. So when I receive, somebody needs to mute. Okay. So, okay. I thought somebody was saying something. Okay, so when I received this topic, and I was just thinking about it, like, what do we do? Do we just come on board and talk about this, talk about how prevalent it is, and talk about, oh, we should look, I know, but there was this thing that was laid heavy in my heart, and it was about talking about prevention. If we can prevent this, if we can teach the skills, if we can help, them to know that this is what it looks like, and then try to prevent it, that it will go a long way. And in talking about prevention, that would include talking about healthy and unhealthy relationships, talking about establishing healthy boundaries, talking about healthy communication, talking about what consent means. All of this, when we understand this, it will help to promote, healthy relationships among this, population, and it will help serve as a method of preventing dating violence. What does a healthy relationship look like? What does an unhealthy relationship? My husband keeps telling me I talk too fast sometimes. I hope I'm not talking too fast. What does an unhealthy relationship looks like? What does it mean to have healthy boundaries, healthy communication, to know what consent is all about? So that's what we're going to be, talking about. And that's what we can do to focus on the prevention methods and also intervention methods. And we're talking about prevention, like I said, healthy relationship, healthy boundaries, healthy communication, consent, and in intervening when they're already in that situation. We're sharing the power and the control will and dating abuse checklist. We're giving them tips on how to break up safely if they're already in that situation. We're making sure that the confidentiality rights of these young adults are not violated. And we are also presenting resources to them on what they need to do, right? And so I'm just gonna say another story of what happened between me and my children, because I have teenagers, so I kind of get my examples from them, our everyday life. And so in talking about like health and unhealthy relationship having the most impact on our teens' life and helping them to understand, what balance is like in a relationship when they see it. So my son came up to me one day and he said, oh, he's going to this dance. It's called a homecoming dance in his school. And oh, he invited this girl for the dance. I was so happy. Oh, you put yourself out there to invite a girl. I was so proud too. That's good. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're being confident of yourself. And then I was happy for him. And then after a while, he came up to me and he said, oh, Mom, she's not going anymore with me. And I said, what happened? I was excited for you, initially. And he said, oh, another friend, his best friend, who is a guy, let me call his name John. John went and spoke to the girl just to make sure that she has the right intentions of going to the dance with me. And it ended up that she didn't really want to go to the dance with me. And I was like, did you tell John to go ask the girl if she wanted to go to the dance with you? He said, no, but mom, he's my best friend. He has my best interest in mind. I know he doesn't mean to hurt me. He just wanted to make sure that everything checks out okay. I said, but you didn't send him. What is his business going to ask this girl you asked out for a dance about whether she wants to go or not? And this is his best friend. They go to like Martha's Vineyard together. They do everything together. Who asked him to do that? So I was taken aback a little bit, and I'm like, no, that's not right. That's not healthy, and he's your best friend. So, and I started trying to tell him about healthy relationship, what it looks like, what it should be, and all of that stuff. But there's this occurring theme that I keep hearing when I listen to him and to other people and to the young adults. Oh, he loves me. You just heard that too from the video. He loves me. I don't think he meant to hurt me. He didn't mean it. He's just jealous. Oh, he's just looking out for me. He's looking at, he got my back. We hear that all the time, and that's how it is in this population. But when we teach these kids and we teach the young adults the skills they need to, in having a healthy relationship, we kind of create a safer, healthier, community for everyone, not only now, but also in the future, for them to know what a healthy relationship looks like and to believe that they deserve to have a healthy relationship and to engage in positive behaviors when they're in that relationship. And there's so many benefits that are involved in, this young adults having a healthy relationship, knowing what it looks like. You kind of find like improved school performances and a reduced antisocial or unhealthy behaviors such as drug use, alcohol use. There's this positive self-image they would have and leadership skills that they will possess and interpersonal skills, communication and negotiation skills. Right? So, them alone knowing what it is to have a healthy or unhealthy relationship will bring about all these benefits. And I know that there is no single issue. There's really no single issue that can explain why some individuals engage in healthy or unhealthy relationship behaviors. There's no one factor that can point specifically to why controlling behavior or violence occur in some relationships, or even why violence is sometimes more common in one community or the other. So, but we do know that there are cultural and there are environmental factors that can influence each of us individually in our relationships, in our communities, and throughout the society. And these cultural and environmental factors tend to affect how we respond to certain situations and what we teach and feel is normal. So we have this 4-level social ecological model that helps us understand this better, understanding violence and the effect of potential prevention strategies. And it kind of compares individual level, relationship level, community level, and societal factors. And also allows us to address the factors that can put people at risk for experiencing or perpetrating violence. So there's some factors that can put them at risk for either experiencing it or perpetrating it. And in the individual level, we have that, this kind of identifies like personal characteristics or biological factors like age and gender, how each individual has like a unique personal history. Okay. And this brings me to, when you see people that say, oh, they have mental health issues, there's a lot of things going on with them. You have people with multiple personality disorder, all of that might put those people at the, like they may be predisposed to either experiencing or perpetrating violence, in their community. And when I was going through this whole thing, I came across a video of, I don't know how many of you have heard about the Bree's Law. This girl, Bree, she was killed by her boyfriend. And when the cell phone, when the parents received the cell phone of the girl, one of the text messages between the girl and this boy was about the girl telling the boy, I don't like what you do to me. You hit me all the time. I don't like it. You need to stop it. And the boy replied in the text and said, I didn't do that. it was Bob that did it. You know, Bob gets angry when you do this. Now, Bob is this guy's alter ego. Like, it's, you know how people have this thing about, it's not me, it's this other person that comes out of me when that person is angry. You know, so it was like, oh my goodness, that's what that guy has. He has this kind of personality that he blames this other person in him, you know, of perpetrating violence. So when you have that kind of understanding, and in terms of also relationship, you know, in this level, we see how people, you know, in our lives, how we interact with people in our lives, you know, and talking about the relationship aspect of it, we see for this young adult population, their friends are the strongest influence in their life in this level. You know, the bond they share with friends, it's very strong for them because they're trying to come into this identity, you know, within themselves. And in the community level, this level kind of explores a setting in which social relationships occur. And in this community level, we're talking about the schools, the church. You know how we have like in school, the kids spend like 6 to 8 hours in school, and most of what they do are like within the parameters of the school wall. But then in schools, we have like the culture in the school, the policy in the school, the discipline, the expectation of students in the school. Like my son's school, they have like the honor code that kind of guides you when you're in school, and when you what's it called? When you go against the honor code, you get punished, you get disciplined. We also have the level of the societal level, and we know that young people always don't think critical of the messages they hear in the society. You know, they tend to just accept whatever goes on, you know, in society. They're influenced by what is going on. An example of this is music. Okay, I came to understand in terms of the music that they listen to. Sometimes when you listen to the lyrics of those, the lyrics of the music they listen to, like you'll be amazed. You know, I was going through, I don't know what I was going through, you know, in my days. There's this song, I don't even know who sang it or how it sang, but it's like, every step you take, every move you make, like I'll be watching you. Let me see. Yeah, I'll be watching you, whatever you do, with every step you take, with every move you make, every vow you break, every smile you fake, every claim you stake, I'll be watching you. Those are lyrics of the music that they listen to. The other day, my son was listening to Bruno Mars, this new song that I don't even know the title. If you know, you could type it in the chat. Something about what you're doing and where you are, and you got plans. So they're like, oh, it's so smooth. It's a nice music. It's all of this. And I started to look at the lyrics of the song, and I was like, I was so taken back. I was like, look at what this singing. This is so suggestive, sexual innuendos, you know, and you were running back. The door is open. I'm like, oh my goodness. And this is what influences them in this day and age. So how should a healthy relationship look like, you know, and how is an unhealthy relationship looking like, and then abusive relationships too. So in terms of healthy relationship, it should be one that is built on trust, has open communication, you know, we're respectful of each other, and it's an honest one. You know, an unhealthy relationship is devoid of trust, is filled with blame and guilt, and teaching them to know that if you're in a healthy relationship, it should be fun. There should be laughter. There should be good vibes. But when the relationship you're in is marked by jealousy, by confusion, and one person being disrespectful, it's not healthy. You know, I'm not even going to go into the abusive part of it, but the healthy versus the unhealthy. If there's no respect of boundaries, you know, it is not healthy. So when you understand what it means to be, you know, to have a healthy relationship, for you to have this individuality about yourself, for each partner to know that they can spend time on their own apart, they can enjoy different friends, different activities, different interests, you know, they can be themselves even when they're together in this relationship. They're respectful, they're encouraging, you know, they have positive qualities, they're giving compliments, they can agree to disagree. You know, it's okay. You know, we don't always have to have the same point of view or feelings about the same thing all the time, you know? So when they learn about this, when they know that this is what it means to be in a healthy relationship, they will be able, when they come into a relationship with someone that is not healthy, they'll be able to pull back and say, it doesn't feel right. This is not what it's supposed to be. And they can make a decision to leave that relationship before it becomes too late. And so also in helping them in preventing all of this from happening, this teen dating violence from happening, they also need to know about healthy boundaries. Having healthy boundaries in terms of having a healthy emotional boundary. The L word does not mean that, when somebody says, I love you, doesn't mean that you have to say it back to them. If you're not ready, it doesn't mean that when you don't say there's something else that's going on. No, you should have to be able to have that emotional boundary when it comes to love and when you want to say it, have physical boundaries around yourself. Take your time, take your time. Being physical in a relationship is nothing to rush, especially us that are Christians. We teach them and we say our body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. We don't want to violate our body. We teach abstinence. We teach purity, create that boundary, and have them understand why they're doing that. And also have like digital boundaries that includes, conversing, having conversations on social media, before they put anything out there, to check with themselves first, think about whether it's okay or it's not okay, to put all those things out there. So when they know about all of these things, when they understand what it means to have a healthy relationship, when they understand what it means to have healthy boundaries, when they understand what it means to have healthy communication, which is like a balancing act, in any relationship that is healthy, it means like, feeling heard. I went to a conference some time ago and they were talking about healthy communication. It's about feeling heard and feeling that the person that heard you understood what you're saying and then respected, while also being able to listen to and understand and respect what the other person is saying. Right? Passing your point across without yelling or screaming. Understand where each other is coming from. And how well we communicate has a major impact on our interactions with others. And communication skills does affect our ability to resolve conflict. So when we're teaching them all of this, teaching them about consent, what does it mean to consent? Consent means like respecting boundaries, never making assumptions, understanding the right way to present requests and desire without turning to pressure or abuse. Understanding the difference between a healthy conversation about consent and when it becomes coercive, right? All of this, letting them know that, when somebody's asking them for something and they say, no, I can't do this right now. And then the person starts like trying to manipulate them to do it, and then become aggressive towards it, trying to pressurize them to doing it. No, it's not right. And some of the red flags that can indicate people, our partner trying to, not to respect our consent includes like pressurizing us or making us feel guilty into doing things that we're not supposed to do. Suggesting that we owe them something, you owe me a sexual act, or you owe me a sexual favor, or you owe me some material things because I did this for you, or the person starts reacting negatively with sadness or anger towards something, or the person even plainly ignoring your indications that you don't want this to happen, and the person just ignores it. So our young adults, the young adult population, for them to be able to survive, for them to be able to know all of this and not be a victim, if they understand all of this, it would really go a long way, really go a long way. So you might then ask us, so how can we help? How can we help them as educators on the platform, as teachers, as youth group leaders, as mentors, the different people we have on the platform? You might say, so how can we help? What do we do? How do we make sure that they understand all of this that you just talked about, and make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do? It could start simply by just having a conversation. Just having a conversation with them, because we know at this stage in their life, they don't say anything. They don't want on their phone all the time. They don't want to even come to you to talk. Sometimes I experience that. They don't even want to say nothing to you. You ask them, how you doing? Good. Okay. where, one word. They don't want to sit and have a conversation, but it is our duty to like start a conversation with them. Use like open-ended questions, like, hey, do you know what a healthy relationship looks like? Do you know what it's like to have, healthy communication strategies that you can use between your partner if something is going on? Do you know how to say this, do this, and also we have to come from this point of view that they're dealing with a whole lot of stuff, even at this stage in their life, like understanding the obstacles that they're dealing with, also knowing that they don't really have that many experiences when it comes to relationships. And also they might be also in a bad place, and they don't want to say it to you because they feel embarrassed, about it, or they're scared about consequences, if they talk about it, they're scared, or they have this fear of losing their independence if they disclose to you. Be mindful of that when when you're talking to them, when you're having a conversation. Remind them, that it's okay. They can trust you. They can talk to you about it, and slowly gain their trust when it comes to that. We can also support them. We can validate their feelings. We can come from a place of understanding, and when they talk to us, thank them for trusting us and sharing, what they shared with us. Remind them that it's not their fault. Remind them that, you want them to be safe and you want them to feel safe, and also ask them how you can support them. When I was preparing for this today, my son came up to me and said, oh, I want to talk to you about something. And I was like, what happened? He said, okay. Another situation in his school. He has this friend, I suspecting that it's a girl, even though he didn't say. So he said, he has this friend of his, and in the course of, I guess he's trying to establish a relationship with this particular person. I'm suspecting it's a girl. And then he told her and said, listen, if in any way I come across to you as annoying, or I say some things that you don't like, please feel free to talk to me about it. Let me know if I'm doing anything that you don't like. I want to be able for us to communicate effectively, be open to one another, be honest. I was like, whoa, who taught you all of this? Me? But, I was like, okay. And so he said, but then this girl, I'm going to say it's a girl, even though he didn't say it, but this girl now went and told somebody else that he did something that annoyed her, and she was reacting to what he did. So there are other, this happens all the time with our teenagers. He said, she said, he said, too many. So this other person now came to him and said, oh, Mary said you did something that, annoyed her, and that's why she's acting the way she's acting. And he's like, Ma, and I was here, I wasn't understanding why she just all of a sudden stopped talking to me. All of a sudden she started avoiding me. And now I'm hearing that I did something that annoyed her. But all this while I've told her, you could come to me, tell me, I said, good job, son. I'm not going to take this credit, but good job that you were able to tell this girl that be open. You were able to have like an effective, healthy communication with this particular person and say, in this relationship, let's be open, let's be honest with each other. And I'm so proud of you for saying that. But then again, I don't want you to now blame yourself because of the way she acted. She probably doesn't know or understand what it means to have a healthy relationship. And it seems from what you're saying that you do understand what it means to have a healthy relationship where everybody is honest and open with one another about their feelings. So now I said, it is now in your place to now call her and tell her, call her out on what she said or what she's doing. Like, listen, I understand that you are not with what I did, right? But at the same time, I need to speak up. In a relationship, you need to speak up when you don't like things. Don't start acting, in a way that, will suggest that something is going on. You need to use your words. You need to, you need to see us having this conversation. Tell her she needs to use her words. She needs to speak up for herself. She needs to know what it means to be, to have a healthy communication skills. She needs to know what it means to have a healthy relationship. My son was just looking at me like, Ma, it's not that serious. It's not that serious, but just an example for us to really see that it's happening. It's really happening out there, and it is not. It's not always easy to tell at the beginning of a relationship if it will become abusive, but when they have that skill of knowing that something is not right here, this is not right. They're able to step back and back away, from that relationship if they see those red flags and they understand what it means to have a healthy relationship. Right. And to round up my presentation, people may say, oh, where can I find resources? How can I help my youth group? How can I help my students? How can I help, people that I mentor? TouchLink is one of the nonprofit organizations that provides support services to victims and provide, prevention strategies and skills that are needed in this kind of situation. And then for this population, we also have what we call the Break the Circle resources at breakthecircle.org. We have Love is Respect resource that you can also utilize. Go in there, read, talking about what love is. Love doesn't hurt. Love is not jealous. Love is not all of these things that we tend to see. Helping them to understand, what is going on. We have also the LGBTQ support resources and the sexual assault support resources and counseling or mental health resources if they need it. And together, we will create a healthy and safe future for all our youths. But we need to start early. We need to start teaching them. It's going to take time, but we need to persevere. We need to stay in there. We need to ensure as adults to make sure that they grow up and they understand all of this stuff, which will help them become, better adults in even now or in the near future. So I just want to say thank you. And that ends my presentation. We're going to go over to the question and the answers. If anybody has anything to add as well. I hope I met my time.
Yes. Thank you so much, Ms. Chinelo Shote, for a wonderful presentation, very knowledgeable, especially on the DV for young adults. So we do have a question in the chat. It says, what age or grade is it ideal to start the conversation with our kids, as they say prevention is better than the cure?
So to me, it depends on your child. Your child, it depends on, some kids are very smart. I remember she's 10 now, but when she was 9 years old, we were one day in the car going to dance, and she was like asking me questions about, mommy, somebody kissed somebody. I'm like, huh? At 9, you're talking about somebody kissing somebody? To me, I was taken aback, like, oh my goodness. I never had this discussion with my daughter before because I felt like at 9 years old, she's too young to know all of that. But I was taken aback and I said, you know what? I need to start talking in the language that they will understand. So you're not going to start talking about dating violence to a 9-year-old. She might not understand, or he might not understand what that means. But, whatever stage that they're in, and what those kids know a lot, whatever stage that they're in and what they know, you use the language that is very familiar to them to tell them certain things. You want to talk to a 9-year-old about keeping their hands to themselves. Don't be aggressive. Respect each other's boundary. You don't throw hands. All of that stuff. That's you teaching them to maintain their physical boundaries. Don't step out of that to hurt somebody else. So it depends on what is going on with them at whatever age that they're in. Just like somebody asking me, what age is it good for a child to stay home alone? And I'm like, I don't know your child. In the state of New Jersey, there's no age for a child to stay home alone, but you need to know your child. If you have a 10-year-old that can stay home alone and know what to do, call 911 and all of that stuff, and you have a 13-year-old who don't even know what to do and call 911. So you have to know who your know your developmental stages of your child and know how to bring it across to that person. That's just my only 2 cents. I don't know if anybody else can contribute to that.
Thank you so much. If you do have any questions, you can feel free to add it to the chat, or you can send it privately to our guest speaker. All right. I do have a question. According to the video that you just showed, what are some signs that parents should look for when it comes to, if their child is in a domestic violence relationship? What are some signs, telltale signs? Because according to the video, they said they didn't know. They thought that it was love.
Yeah. So sometimes we have these glaring signs that you could notice right away. In my own case with my son, he just came up to me and he talked to me about it. Sometimes, they will not come up to you and talk to you about it. But when you see when you see your child, when you see your child kind of getting antsy, anxious, having anxiety, oh my God, team called me. I need to call team back. I need to call team back. Fretting over, oh, somebody called you and you need to call them back. What's going on here? Like, that's like a red flag. Why are you like so bent on making sure you return his call right away? What is going on? Or you like the person like stays in your room, or like all of a sudden they probably usually dress nice, and all of a sudden they started dressing a certain kind of way, and you're like, okay, what's going on here? Like, and it could be that their boyfriend is making them dress in a certain kind of way, or making them do certain kind of things. So when you see those things happening, there's a change in behavior, there's this anxiety, anxiousness going on, there's this isolation going on, there's this a lot of things coming up, and your child, right? The person in your youth group, how they used to behave before. All of a sudden there's a change in behavior. You should be curious to know what's going on with the person. You should have a conversation, just to be clear. You're not like saying, oh, this is what it is, oh my God. No, just have a conversation. Just try to find out what is actually going on. Sometimes those kids don't say anything. Sometimes some of them are very good at masking what is going on. We saw there's a video too, and talked about the Breeze Law. Nobody knew. This girl was so jovial, so happy, and then she ended up dead. We see what's going on in the news. Gabby Petito, it doesn't look like they had this volatile relationship going on, but, and she ended up dead, so we just have to be very vigilant, pay attention, ask them, have conversations with them. Don't just leave them alone by themselves. Pull them aside, in the youth group, pull the youth aside. Everything okay? See what they know, see what is going on. It just takes persistence. Sometimes it's not that glaring. I don't know if anybody else can add to that. I'm not the only one that's supposed to answer all the questions, right?
So what I want to say is I agree with you. And that's why it's very important to be a person that can receive the information, and that we are aware of the children or teenagers or whomever that are around us. And our reaction has to really be not so like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she's asking me. I can't believe he just told me that. Or are we going to do this? We're going to do that. Because a child, or not even a child, like it could be like somebody in their 20s or whatever, depending on the age, they might feel like, I can't tell her anything. But my thing is, it's time for you to be that sponge and just listen to what they're saying to you, and then come up with a solution. Okay. But let them also be a part of it. Don't take over it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also I would like to add, if you notice, your teenager, if they're already dating and they're always hanging out with the same boy, the boyfriend all the time, and they feel like, oh my, there's no breathing space, like every 5 minutes they're on the phone with that person, or or I have to every weekend they're always hanging out with the boyfriend. I personally think that's red flag. They should have friends outside of the boyfriend. And they should, and that would also promote healthy relationship. They should be able to socialize with other people, not just all this time hanging out with a boyfriend. I think that's something parents should look out for as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you so much. So this ends the segment of the questions. All right, so if you do have questions, you can definitely email touchlink.org. All right, so now we're going to be moving on to the video. All right, so they're going to be sharing that screen.
Good evening. I believe this video will resolve your question. So now I'm logged into the QGIF site, and this is the home, my personal page home. All you have to do to edit it is go to your fundraising menu here, and you can go to edit my page. When you get to edit my page, you'll see this, and you can this is the personal fundraising page, and this is edit. When you click that edit, you can put things in here, subtitle left, and you can come down and you can tell your story here, and you can edit, and you essentially tell your story, and you can customize it any way you want and tell your story here. I believe that's what you want, because from the email I saw that you couldn't edit your personal page. Thank you for the feedback. If you have any more questions, please let me know. Have a lovely day. Bye.
Hello, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chinelo. That was something. That was a lot of information, and thank you so much for providing that. Especially some of us, we are so sheltered, we are unawares, especially parents, we are not unawares of what goes on out there. A lot goes on, especially with our kids. A lot are going on. And I'm so glad for you to tell us that the earlier we start talking to our kids, the better. And we also need to support them. So really, I want to say we have received so much. My note is full, and I'm going to go over it. So I'm encouraging everybody, go over your notes, and let's, just, even if you are not a parent, this is so usable. This is so information that you can use to guide other people. So God bless you for that information. Sorry, we didn't introduce what we were doing. We were showing you video about how you can support TouchLink. So the video that you just saw after the presentation is about one of our director, Tunde, just helping to show you how you can donate to support the work that TouchLink does. We are ending actually our the campaign for Domestic Violence Awareness Month on Saturday with a physical walk. So I'm expecting everybody to join us. But all the same, throughout the year, we are constantly supporting people in the community. I can't tell you how much we spend on hotels, putting people in the hotel because there's no shelter there on the streets. And I know I've been on the street before. I know how it feels like, especially in the cold. So this is what TouchLink does. We try to give them maybe 5 days, 3 days, 10 days in the hotel, just to until the Board of Social Services can get an accommodation for them. So we are always, a shoulder away to meet the victims at their points of need. Another thing that TouchLink does is survivor kits. Survivor kit is an emergency box that we provide that has their food card, has their gas card, has all the emergency toiletries, things that they will need immediately. So those are the things. It's about $100. The package is about $100, the cost. So like little things that you can do to support TouchLink. If you can't give money, it's okay. You can volunteer. You can volunteer with TouchLink. We need volunteers if you're a social worker. Even if you're not a social worker, you can at least do administrative work, pick up the phones. There's always something. You can work. You can go to court with our victims. You can provide some little tangible, or pray. Every Tuesday we pray. So many things you can do to volunteer. And also, you can, if you find out from your employer might actually, be supporting non-profit, because we are 501c3, which means every penny that you give to TouchLink is tax deductible. So if you give us any money, you can always take it back at the end of the year. And your company, we have some companies that have matching options that will actually match any amount that you do. You can ask your employees. So many things. But what we are doing is I'm not communicating a whole lot of things that we're doing, but really we are doing a lot. You might think we're small like that. We are really doing a lot. Every day I get like more than 5 phone calls every day. That's a lot. Of people on the streets, or people that need help, or somebody going through crisis that just need counseling, maybe just counseling. So there's a lot that we can. I didn't want to end up this session by saying, I didn't want to end up this awareness week by not letting you know what TouchLink does and how you can support, tangible or intangible. Nothing, your services, your money. Come out on Saturday and work with us. All right. So thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. I really appreciate you. If you have any questions, send your question to info@touchlink.org. info@touchlink.org. Please subscribe to our channels. We always are tuned into our channels. We always have all these videos on our YouTube channels. You can always go back and refer to it. If you never know, it might be your colleague at work, it might be your friends, it might be your church community. So always just make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also check our website, touchlink.org. And please support. Every penny. I can categorically tell you that me as I work my full-time job and I do this, I put more money in the organization. I have people that can witness it. So no money is every penny is accounted for. So thank you again. Thank you, Chinelo, so much. Thank you, Manuela, for moderating this session. Thank you, everybody.
Can I say one or two things about TouchLink? Because some of us on the platform were Christians, right? And I know there's a place in the Bible where Jesus said, "When I was hungry, you gave me food to eat. When I was naked, you clothed me." And then the disciples now ask him and say, "When do we see you hungry and feed you? When do we see you naked and clothed you?" And he said, "When you do that to the least person in your midst, you're doing it to me." So I look at it this way, that at 1 a.m. when they're calling you, DY, to come to the police station because somebody has been beaten and battered and nowhere to go, and you stop at Walmart to buy a blanket for the kids and get hot food, and I donated the money to this agency, that's me doing, because I couldn't wake up at 1 to go. You woke up at 1 to go, but the money I donated helped you to stop by Walmart to buy blankets and food for that family. So we're doing service, to God. So every money we donate is for service to this to the victims, getting them off the street. So I really appreciate you for that, for doing what you're doing. I can't go out 1, but you go out 1, so my money will go as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me just give you a little story before we round up. Emanuela can attest to this. We put a woman in the hotel that she knows. This woman, she's an Indian woman. She lives here in Somerset. Pastor dies. She's kind of like enslaved by her husband, went to India to marry her, brought her back home, and she ended up being a slave. She cannot have children. This man will abuse her, use her to wash the floor, use her to, every day she massages the man, of course, have sex with him. She can't go out. She's isolated. She cannot go to the store. She cannot go to school. She was just abused. She became, a ghost of herself. She became so old, and if you look at her, she looks so horrible. But anyway, she was rescued. Unfortunately, the fund finished where in the shelter that they put her. So they had to put her out because she had nowhere to go. She went back to India. And then because in between, the man got her a green card so that she can be working, because the guy is an IT guy, so that she can be working at home with him. And at the same time, for 4 years, she was isolated, locked up. So now she just came back from India. She must have called like 20 different shelters. Nobody helped her. But she had called me before from India that she was coming. And I told her, when you get here to the airport, call me. If there's no shelter, I also helped her to look for more shelters. We couldn't get any. All the shelters are all, occupied. So I took her, I called Emanuela, she helped me. I took her to the hotel. So we put her in for 10 days, right? And I also gave her a gift card. I gave her the survivor kit and I gave her a gift card for food. And also, because I know she's just coming, for 29 hours, she has been in transit. She has not eaten. She was already, mentally down. She was she was so tired and weary. So I went to the store, get her in my few things, and I gave her $100 gift card. So she took the picture to show me the food that she bought with the gift card, and she was just saying, "Thank you, TouchLink, thank you." One day she was like, when I get out of this, I want to do what you're doing. I want to support you. I had to tell you that story so that you guys can know that what we are doing is real. She is one of many, especially with the COVID. We have so many that we couldn't even help because of lack of resources, because we can only put them max of 10 days in the hotel. That 10 days costs over $1,000. not to talk of other stuff that we give. So I'm saying to you guys to say, whatever you do in TouchLink is really, sowing into other people's life. You are giving them hope. You are giving them another chance. You are giving them reason to live. This woman is going to be okay because I got her a social worker. One of our social workers got in touch with her. She went to social services, to neighbors of social services. So we've been able to secure somewhere for her that by the time our 10 days is going to be finishing this Friday, she's going to be going to a safe home, a safe house. And again, I'm going to follow up with her because she actually has masters in social work. I'm going to follow up with her to make sure that at least she's well situated. So many like that we even helped with school. They get out of shelter. We help them with transitional rental assistance for a few months. And then, of course, they once they start getting little jobs, they can be on their own and they are given back today. So again, I'm saying all this to know that what we do is really real. Is real. It's not stories. I'm a child of God. I don't owe anybody anything. I know who I will give account of what I do to. But I had to let you know that some of these things that we do is not just stories. It's not just something you are reading in the book. It's real. And whatever, no penny no amount of money that you give in support of TouchLink goes unaccounted for, and it goes for a good cause. So thank you, everybody. Check us out, our website. You can donate on the website. There is a website alone costs us. I can't even tell you how much it costs us to put a good, secured website. So the website is so secure because we spend so much money on it. We have our, board of directors that fund this. We have our partners, monthly partners that fund this, just to make sure that we take care of people in our community and people around us. And TouchLink is not even just in New Jersey. We are spread all over. We have people, we have clients in Pennsylvania, we have clients in Atlanta, we are in Texas, we are in Chicago, in California. So that's how far. We even started recently with Uganda, helping people. You all heard about that story. But again, I'm saying all this to say, your penny will be accounted for and God will reward you for your labor of love. And at the end of the year, because we are 501c3, you can always get this back from your tax. So thank you so much. Oh, how do you like that? I'm campaigning for money. God bless you. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining tonight. God bless you, everybody. Have a blessed evening. Please, on Thursday, that's our last session on Thursday. Come on Thursday. Then on Saturday, please, 10 a.m. Everybody should get there at 9:30. We are going to take it. It's only going to be for an hour. We are going to walk. Our walk starts at 10 and we are done at 11. So everybody, if you don't have a t-shirt, come over on Saturday, you get your t-shirt. It's only $20. All right?